Time is flying. Last question. At the age of 72.
Well, you mentioned that quite a few times now.
It's all for perspective, all for perspective. In your 8th decade of life.
Close as you now are to a centenary.
I'm curious what most animates you. You could be playing shuffleboard in Florida, but you still are so active in ministry, writing, traveling, speaking. Clearly there's a drivenness there. What most animates you?
Well, I'm grateful for the health and strength I have. If you don't have the health and strength and energy, your drivenness dissipates. I've got a younger brother who suffers from Lewy body dementia, macular degeneration. He's legally blind and so on. I'm grateful for the health I've got and the stamina. So that's part of it. Part of it is I hold that there is no biblical theology of retirement, but there is a biblical theology of old age. Do I have time to tell you my biblical theology of old age? I'll try to make it.
Is this the hat analogy?
Yeah.
Sure.
Part. I've forgotten. Have I used a hat analogy? The old age is creeping up on me. I may not be able to remember it.
Would you like me to tell it?
You're not old
It begins
enough.
when you're 72. No.
Well, the question is, what's the first thing that goes, so long as you're not suffering from a chronic disease that takes away your mind or your strength, whether Alzheimer's on the one hand or cancer on the other and so on. What's the first thing that goes? And the answer is your energy level. When it starts to go, it might be at 45 or it might be at 60, it might be 70, but sooner or later it starts to go. And when it starts to go, if you don't acknowledge it, certain things take place. Number one, you keep doing everything, but you do everything badly. Number two, the result is you start resenting younger men. Number three, you start looking backwards all the time instead of forwards. Number four, you may actually start destroying the very things you build up. Number five, you become a cranky old man.
Mm.
So what do you do instead? If you're honest enough about your energy levels, then it seems to me that you have to start taking off one or more of your hats, one of the things you're doing, to accommodate the rest of them with the energy you've got left. So that with the energy you've got left, you can do the things that remain as well as you've ever done them by letting some things go. So I know a man in Britain he's in his 90s now. Very fruitful ministry all his life. He still has all his marbles. But at the age of 65, he started putting aside this and that and the other. Nowadays, he does two things only. One of them is he'll preach, but never more than once a day, and ideally not more than once every 2 days. He won't fly anywhere anymore. He's got to be driven or take a train. But when he preaches as well as I've ever heard him, and I first heard him in 64. He was doing university mission when I was an undergraduate at McGill. But he's not trying to do everything. He's doing what he can do well. So that means that he can still preserve the energy that he still has to devote to gospel privileges, services, things, influence. And he's looking to the future all the time. In the closing years of Carl Henry's life, my wife and I used to drive 2 hours to his home, his retirement home in Wisconsin, and talk with him. And one of the things that struck me about Carl and his wife Helga was that they were constantly asking about the future. Most old people start always talking about the past. He wanted to know what was going on here, what was going on. He knew I was traveling. He was still praying for me, the next generation, and wanted to know how things were in Malaysia in my last trip and how things were in here or there. And did I meet so-and-so old-timers that he knew when he was traveling for world missions? And his forward-lookingness, his commitment to the gospel, his asking what God is doing in the world was itself already an inspiration for what was coming along behind. So I would like to think that it's the gospel that's still driving me, but I'm realistic enough and know my own sin well enough to know that I have to be careful that I'm not deluding myself into thinking it's self-identity. I don't want to think that. We're in the process of changing leaders at the Gospel Coalition. When we all started, the senior leaders were all about 60. Now we're all 70 plus. And so we're in the process of establishing new leaders in post after post after post. And to do that, preserving the DNA, but pass it on cleanly. It's like what happens in a church when a pastor goes, it needs to be clean and without undermining the new guy coming in and so on. So I'm not interested in questions of legacy. I'm interested in questions of faithfulness as an old man. Of 72.
Of 72. But still with sufficient vim and vigor. Dr. Carson, thank you for the time today. It's been a delight.